And welcome back to Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, Jay Pops. Guys, we are back. We're back. Uh, this is just going to be a little bit of the spring game notes and things like that. I know I am pretty late here, so please forgive me on that. I'm extremely late. But just a couple of takeaways from the 2022 Texas A&M spring game. So first and foremost, that was one of the most packed spring games that I've been to, but also it's one of the more packed spring games that I think I've witnessed at Texas A&M. Um, a couple of things here was everybody wanted to come and see the quarterback competition, but also everybody wanted to see who was going to step up and be a threat at that wide receiver position. Evan Stewart, that guy is every bit of what I told you he was going to be. It kills me to know that Demond Demas could not stick around like everyone wanted him to. All right. And good luck to the young man wherever he chooses to go to. Once again, you know, I hope all is well, with the young lady that was involved in and stuff like that. But man, we're not going to get into that. But Evan Stewart will be a primary piece of this passing offense. Okay. He will be a primary piece to this Jimbo Fisher's offense. A lot of people love to say, oh, well, Evan, you only going there to block for the running backs. I believe that it's a lot of people that gets mad because of the simple fact of Jimbo Fisher is one of the very few coaches that can actually put together a dynamic running back room, and that kills me that people love to criticize him like that. Oh man, you're not gonna catch any passes in that Jimbo Fisher's offense. Man, that Jimbo Fisher's offense is so outdated, et cetera, et cetera. This and that and this. That young man looked every bit of good. Once again, as I thought he was going to be. Now, granted, it was a couple of passes being dropped, but also granted, it was a lot of wind out there, and people can criticize me all they want to about what I said about the wind. That's fine with me. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm telling you guys what I know. I was at the game. I was in the stands, okay? The thing about the stands is that you're in the stands, man. You're sitting down. You're not on the field. You're not throwing the football, Now, of course, what comes along with that is the quarterback just has to learn how to throw in the wind. But also at the same time, Jimbo Fisher was calling deep routes. That's the difference that's going to be with this offense in 2022. It's going to be some deep balls being thrown. They're going to take some chances, man. They're going to take a lot of chances. The guy that I just really think is going to come down with most of those chances is Evan Stewart. Okay? But let's not forget about Anaya Smith, Moose Muhammad, Jalen Preston. He didn't have a good game. But I believe Jalen will still be a piece in this offense. Chase Lane, he was okay. And another guy in which, once again, I believe that Haynes King will be QB1. I believe that Caleb Chapman will be a true deep threat, a true deep threat. So once again, you go back to the quarterback competition. All quarterbacks were okay. Who done the best out there so far as completion percentage? It was Max Johnson. Okay. But also, Max Johnson, he had sort of the better receivers on his side, and I'm not making any excuse for Haynes King because everybody posted these stats after this spring game. Oh man, look at these stats here. Look at these stats. I know for one that Connor Wingman was like 3 out of 13, 1 touchdown, not sure how many yards. Haynes King was like, what was he like? 12 or 10 of something attempts, but his completion percentage was not good at all. I will say that. But he's also a dual threat quarterback. Also, Max Johnson showed you that he can be dual threat at times too. I like this quarterback unit, period. Okay. I'm still sticking with Haynes King. Understand that I'm not going to change my decision because you guys are telling me to change my decision or constantly trying to give me the spring game stats to say, hey man, this is the reason why you need to change your decision, or the first or last season stats when which Haynes King only had one game and a half or one game and a quarter of football. And those are the stats that you guys are showing me to Max Johnson's stats in which he played the full season. Come on, man. Stop. Stop it already. Once again, I'm sticking with Haynes King. Haynes King has weapons around him. And I believe that Haynes King will be good. I also believe that Max Johnson will be good. I also believe that when Connor Wingman gets his chance, he will be good also. So it's a young man on here. Let me call out the name here. So Negro Sports Knowledge. I'm ready for my invite on the show because Haynes King will not be the guy. Now I don't know if you're an A&M fan or not. I believe that you are, and you know this some of this is going to come from the fan base, which is fine, man. I will go in the opposite direction. Haynes King will be the starter. As soon as Haynes King gets made starter, in which I believe is a fact, but it's also an opinion. Once again, because I said I believe it's a fact, but it's also an opinion. A lot of you guys are going to act like you're mad, but then again, you see the first game, and if he lights it up that first game or first two games, especially in the Miami game, in which a lot of people are going to make excuses for if Texas A&M blows out Miami. They're going to say this here. Oh, man, it's a brand new coach. Oh, well, Miami ain't really all that good no ways. I'm going to hear. Oh, man, wait till he face some real SEC competition. Then he's going to get up to the game with Arkansas. If he's a fool in the Arkansas game, people are going to make excuses for that too. All right. If it's nothing going on with the injury, then you guys cannot continue to make excuses for me. You guys love to say I make excuses for whatever reason. But once again, man, that's fine. I'm just stating some factual stuff here. And I'm just telling you guys, hey, man, believe in what I'm telling you, okay? Shout out to the punter. I'm glad this young man just mentioned it, Jonathan Henrich, I believe. We have a punter from South Lake Carroll that just committed on today, class 2023. Jimbo Fisher is going, okay, so how do you guys say it? Jimbo Fisher from way down. He went all the way to South Lake Carroll, in which that is Longhorn territory over there, okay? It is hard to get kids from South Lake Carroll to commit to Texas A&M, or at least that I know of. It's pretty hard to get those guys to commit to Texas A&M because they're so much of a Longhorn fan. I mean, they're out there in Austin anyways, so they're closer to Texas than anything, and that's who they watch most of the time. But we have a punter that committed. From my understanding, the young man is saying that he's a five-star punter. So that is really, really good there. So also, man, continue to keep going here. So the defense, a lot of people was there to watch the defense as well. On the defensive side of the ball, and I saw somebody say this on Twitter as well. Of course, I have not been watching Texas A&M for 20 years, okay? I'm only 32 years old, so I'll be lying to you if I tell you I've been watching them for 20 years. However, I have been watching the program for a little bit over the last decade. This is my first time where I've ever seen the defensive back unit look this good. I said that last year, but I said that, man, we got a defense. That was overall. The defensive back unit in particular, they played so much of a press man coverage, and where I've never seen that before. I've never, ever seen that before. Don't be so surprised of when this defensive back unit comes out and they'll rank top 10 in the country. That is a shutdown defensive back unit, and that wasn't even much the starters that were out there. I'm going to say this once again. That wasn't even all of the starters that were out there. Bobby Taylor showed me something out there. Ish Harris definitely showed me something out there. Bryce Anderson, my God, that young man can ball at his position. That young man made a lot of throws contested out there, in which if you were going to make the catch, you were really going to have to make the catch. Bryce Anderson is every bit of what we all thought that he was going to be in that defensive backfield. This is the reason to why I said that this year in particular, man, if you come thinking that you're not going to get your job taken, then you have another thing coming. These young men are hungry. I've been seeing a lot of young men now in which I did not see before that say, man, we want to bring a national title here. That's the goal. That is the goal, to bring a national title here and make history. That's the goal. I've seen where A-Chain said he's speaking for the city of Houston when he says that us guys from Houston that commit here, we want to bring a national title back to Houston. We want to be the first ones to do that. A-Chain has unfinished business. He will not be gone after this year, in my opinion. Okay. Another thing about that defense is Denver Harris. Denver Harris looked every bit of like a 5-star. Now, of course, he's still a freshman. It's some things that he's going to have to work on, of course. But he looked every bit of like a 5-star, man. That was out there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. That was darn good. Damani Richardson, he looked good out there. Looked sharp. This is how you know Evan Stewart is a threat. Miles Jones, and I see Kangaroo Black, big time Alabama fan. He has a podcast as well. Shout out to him. You guys make sure you go and watch his podcast. He said he's watching our spring game now. And I know you're going to come with some criticism. I'm ready for it. But Miles Jones, he was holding Evan Stewart. I promise you this. If Miles Jones wouldn't have committed that pass interference, Evan Stewart would have had like a 35-yard touchdown. I'm not sure what quarterback threw that. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if it was Max Johnson or Haynes King that threw that pass. I believe it was Haynes King, because that was in like the opening drive. Miles Jones got beat. And when I tell you that he got beat, man. Miles Jones had to, for sure enough, grab his arm and turn him around. That solidified everything I needed to know. Once again, it's spring game, people. We can't buy too much into that. But you can see where Evan Stewart is a legitimate threat as a freshman wide receiver, man. That guy was a 5-star for a reason. You also got to keep in mind that Evan Stewart did not play football for an entire year. Okay? He did not. Similar to the Mun Demons, which is so crazy to me. But he didn't play football for a whole year neither. He still has everything in him that speaks volume to his craft. He has his own little YouTube channel, just so you guys know. You can go and look at his stuff, see what he puts on there. But every week, I remember him saying this, every day of the week, he had legitimately something set up to perfect his skill set. He showed it on that field, man. The young man is good, okay? Once again, he's going to make some freshman errors, so you guys can't be mad at that. But the young man is going to be good. Is he going to be a starter? A lot of people are going to be mad at me for this. A lot of guys that's in there in that wide receiver room right now is going to be mad at me for this one too. But he will be a day one starter. Now, I don't know where he's going to start at, but he will be a day one starter, okay? Once again, man, Anaya Smith will be golden out there. So back to that defense. On that defensive line, a freshman standout that looked really good to me, Anthony Lucas. Now, you guys have to remember, Anthony Lucas was on the borderline of being a 5-star recruit. He showed it, once again, that spring game. Cannot take too much in the spring game. I cannot say that enough. But he's a hard-nosed, pound for pound, move out the way type of guy. He looked darn good on that defensive line. This defensive line will be good. Look, The defense will be good once again, period. All right. The defensive line will be very disruptive once again, period. The starters on that offensive line that started in that spring game, most of those guys were all second string. Okay. It wasn't any day one starters out there. I think the only guy that was out there that was maybe like a day one starter was the guy that got hurt. I cannot remember his name. But that defensive line looked good once again. The only problem is that everybody's not even much on campus. That's so far as the freshmen are concerned. They're not there yet. So Fidel Diggs looked good. He's a junior this year. Did Isaiah Rakes play? I don't believe Isaiah Rakes was out there. But a couple of guys out there look good. So Jordan Moko was the guy that got injured on the offensive line. I believe Jordan Moko will get his shot this year. That's what I believe. But that defensive line in particular, man, they look good, man. That's why I told you guys it will not be a drop-off on this defense. The only thing that we're waiting for at Texas A&M is to see the passing game excel. Okay? That's the only thing we're waiting on. We're waiting to see the passing game excel. Once again, this is my first ever time watching the jumbo fishing practice at Texas A&M where he threw the ball deep. He really threw it deep. He gave all of those guys some deep routes and said, no, man, you go out there and you go play. You go and play. At the same time, defense, press coverage all day. I don't think I've seen the zone coverage out there, none whatsoever, being played anywhere. They played all press coverage, and they had a lot of defensive backs on the field. You give me that going forward, it's going to be a rough time in the SEC West so far as these DBs going up against these wide receivers. In my mind, it's not a wide receiver room right now in the SEC West that I feel very comfortable with at saying that they're all elite. Okay, I'm gonna start with the big name here. Alabama, in which their spring game comes on this weekend, they don't have an elite wide receiver room right now. LSU, they don't have an elite wide receiver room right now. Arkansas, man, they may be. I believe they have a wide receiver room. Okay, so let me rephrase that. They're not elite, though. They're not elite. Auburn, nowhere near elite. To all the Auburn fans that's out there listening, TJ Finley will be your starting quarterback. It will not be Zach Calzada. I'm pretty sure there's some Zach Calzada fans in this in this podcast watching right now. It will not be Zach. Please do not come on here talking about Zach gonna be. No, he will not. It will be TJ Finley, in my opinion. So who we got? Auburn. Ole Miss have not seen their spring game yet. I believe it comes on this time around, but even them, they don't have an elite wide receiver room. Mississippi State. I believe Mississippi State has the more veteran wide receiver unit, just as well as A&M has a veteran wide receiver unit as well. But that's about all I got to say on that. They're not elite though, and man, I believe that's it. So who did I name? Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. Yeah, so that's about it. So as right now, it's nobody in the SEC West in my mind with an elite unit. Once again, it's on the spring game. They're not going to show you everything. I know that for a fact. But that's really all I've seen. So far as our running backs are concerned, our running backs are still good. All right. I believe our running backs will be a bit more faster this year with a fast-paced offense. In my opinion, I believe this offense will be very fast-paced, not fast as the Ole Misses of the world and stuff like that. But they will be a very fast-paced offense. I believe this offense will score a lot of points this year. I honestly believe that they will score a lot of points. You didn't see that in the spring game, so a lot of you guys will come and tell me, well, I don't know about that, but it was 30-24. Last few times we watched these spring games, it's been very low scoring. All right, so I believe that will be pretty good going there. All right, so we will just have to continue to watch and see everything progress in the fall and stuff like that, and then continue to go from there. Also here, the offensive line, man, you can tell that they still need a couple of more things to work on, but This is the reason to why I believe that, man, this is the part where it's really going to be a tough battle between Haynes King and Max Johnson. Haynes King is way faster than Max Johnson. This is the reason why I think he will win the starting job. Understand, everybody wants that throwing quarterback. You don't have to be perfect every game. Okay, so let's go ahead and get it on out the way. You don't have to be perfect every game. However, your completion percentage needs to be darn good. I believe Haynes King has it in him to be the starter, and I believe he has it in him to complete passes to where his completion percentage is going to be darn good. I believe because of the simple fact of that he has a threat of being a run-pass option type of guy, he's going to find deep shots down the field more often than none. So I just need you guys to take that into consideration right now. He's going to find a lot of deep shots down the field because it's going to be a lot of teams that's going to think that he's going to run, in which indeed he's not going to run. And when Haynes catches them slipping, he's going to throw that ball deep. And he has some receivers that can go out there and get the ball this time. All right, so please keep that in mind. So far as anything else that I've seen, I didn't really see anything else. It was a couple of visits. Now I do think Haynes King will throw a couple of deep shots outside of the pocket. I believe he'll get to a point where he's running and then he'll stop and he'll catch somebody downfield that's wide open. That's what I like about Haynes King. But at the same time, Max Johnson can do that same thing, man. It's going to be a really tight battle. A tight battle. It's no lead in this quarterback race right now. I still believe that Haynes King is the go-to guy at the moment, though. But so far as the visits are concerned, Anthony Hill was down there for a visit. I'm just naming the more notable names. Joe Anthony Cook was down there, wide receiver, in which he's still talking about. He's ready to see some football trophies, man. But, man, you got to let the little young fella, do what he got to do. But I believe that we'll get Joe Anthony Cook. Avery Hughes. Avery Hughes. They're going to have to put that guy in the package somewhere. That was the most notable guy on defense down there. He made some plays. You're going to have to put him in some games. The Sam Houston State game to start off with, man, you're gonna have to use that young fella because he's home. You're gonna have to put him in there though. But anyways, so far as the biggest, Joe Anthony Cook, 5-star cornerback Tony Mitchell. These are all 2023 prospects that I'm naming here. But Tony Mitchell from Alabama, Alabama. I've been watching that young man's recruitment like crazy. Don't ask me why I've been watching it like that, but it's just something about the young man that sticks with me. I don't believe he's a Denver Harris type of cornerback. I believe he can play both sides. I believe that he can play both positions if you let him. If you want him to play safety, he'll play safety. If you want him to play cornerback, he'll play cornerback. The young man is gifted. I love the relationship that he has with Jimbo Fisher in that defensive backfield of coaches back there. I love the relationship that he has with the team that's already there as well. That's the reason why he continues to talk about A&M so much. In my mind, I believe that he'll commit to Texas A&M whenever he's ready. I'm just telling you guys that. Once again, he's from Alabaster, Alabama. And he's a 5-star guy, and he looks like every bit of a 5-star guy. But I love the relationship, man. You guys need to keep an eye on him. Joe Anthony Cook, I really don't know who that young man is going to commit to. If it all boils down to it to Texas and Texas A&M, I believe he'll go with Texas A&M. Anthony Hill, I have to really get a read on him. But as of right now, I like where A&M stands with him. And I believe if it was for him to choose today or tomorrow, I believe he'll go with A&M. Okay, so that's just me. I said the same thing about a lot of these guys last year, and a lot of these guys that I mentioned, they all committed. So just believe in that. But once again, this is just a quick little, spring game update. I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. I love all of you guys. Tune in on tomorrow when I have a special guest again, Mr. E. Crenshaw, and we'll do it from there. All right. So love all of you. #Geek.